Good morning guys, I'm Scott with Trailpower, and today we're going to be blacking out the hood on our GX470 in preparation for installing our Trailpower solar panels. So we're going to go over to Signarama in Midway, Utah and meet with the owner, Spencer Coleman. And he's going to show us exactly how easy it is to install vinyl on our hood so that we can put our solar panels on and they're going to blend in and look awesome. And then we'll be able to start generating some power. So let's head over there and we'll go meet Spencer. Hey guys, this is Spencer Coleman with Signarama in Midway, Utah. Spencer's going to help us with our vinyl wrap on the hood of our GX470. First thing that we're doing is we're removing the front grille so that we can wrap our vinyl right around underneath, and also Spencer's popping out our hood liner so that we can get up and remove our windshield washer nozzles, and then we'll have a really clean surface to be able to get our vinyl installed. Does that sound right?
Yep, that's exactly right.
This is what we're taking out of here. This is our windshield washer nozzle right here. So Spencer's taking out the second one. So he's getting underneath that front side, and he pushed right there and that released the clip. And then what'd you do to get the back out?
Yep, same thing. So just push pressure on these clips.
From the front and the back?
Yep, from the front and the back. That'll easily allow this to come out. And this is probably very similar on a lot of cars. Jeeps have this same thing. The only thing that you do want to know is that much like this one, you do not want to release the hose right off of the nozzle. You want to go back a little bit so that we can put this back in, make for an easy install.
Yeah, we'll show you inside where that connects in. There's a little plastic T-fitting. Also, once you remove your grill, you can just reach right here to lift the hood. Oh, it feeds all the way over to this side?
Yeah, I can't find a shorter run.
So this side, from the passenger side, that has a long hose that goes all the way across and connects into that T. So we're connecting up to this little T-fitting right here, and you can take those two hoses off.
Then we'll just come up and out.
Up and out.
Nice hose there.
Cool. Nice. So now we've got a clear hood. We can wrap this whole area here all the way up and over and not have to cut around those nozzles. So that's just gonna be a lot cleaner and it's not gonna peel up. So is that just water?
So this is isopropyl alcohol mixture, 50% of the alcohol, 50% water. So I have it in spray bottles just because it's easy. You can just keep it in the alcohol bottle.
That'll wake you up in the morning.
Mix it up and spray it. This just really helps clean the surface really nice. What you do want to make sure that you do, just because the wrap is going to be going in some interesting areas, we just want to make sure we get down in these cracks and crevices really well, because when your wrap is going to get installed, same with on this back little lip, we're going to roll it up and underneath the hood so there's no really exposed seams that can let dirt and debris come up in, because we know this vehicle is going to be in dirt and debris a lot more than the average.
So what kind of material we're going to use today?
We're going to use an Avery Dennison Supreme wrapping film product. I choose to use Avery Dennison just because of the success that I've had with it, but it's also very user friendly. You'll see as we start the wrap that the black is just going to float on this hood for a while until I apply pressure, just because the glass adhesive beads are designed to just float on a surface until pressure is applied.
So I know for me, never having wrapped a vehicle before, the thing that's scary for me is I feel like I'm going to get this expensive piece of wrap, I'm going to put it on there, it's going to get stuck, and then I'm not going to be able to get it in the right spot, and then I'm going to ruin it.
Yeah, no, I think everyone has that fear, right? That's why when you go buy stickers, and different things, there's like a split down it so that you can just peel half of it. We're going to actually peel this entire thing all in one piece, and I'll show you how how it lays around, and we'll move it around, and we may even stick it together for a few minutes just to show you that you can be confident in it, that nothing really is going to happen. You can take your time, figure it out. It'll work really easy, really awesome. So the surface is clean, so let me grab the knifeless tape and we'll really get going. So this is a 3M product. Everyone's very aware of 3M. This technology is fairly recent, but it's really neat. So what this is this is just a tape. So it's just got adhesive on the back that we can stick down, and you can actually shape it.
Oh, there's like is that like a wire in the middle?
Yeah, so what that is just a thin wire. So what's cool about this is, if you think of pinstriping, that's kind of what this acts like. You can twist it and make all sorts of designs. So we'll be able to follow the contour.
Flame the GX today?
We could flame the GX, but I don't know if that is your cup of tea. But if that's what you wanted to,
it would surprise my wife.
That. Yeah. So it's really nice where we can follow this body line. It's going to help us to follow this body line just perfectly up on that. So like I said, it's just designed so that you don't have to touch your paint job with a knife, right? If we were to cut on this, odds are that we would scratch that up. And
yep. Yeah, so what we're going to do is we're going to follow this contour line right along here. And we're going to follow this all the way back. And all the way back to here, and then we're going to wrap over and around the hood here. And so that's going to give this whole center section this blackout effect, so that when we lay those panels on top, they just kind of blend in, and it looks like a nice blackout hood here, but it's totally functional in generating power.
So the key with the 3M knife, or the knifeless tape here, is that we have to be able to get that wire back out. So I always give myself about 6 inches back from where I start and where I end, just so that I can have that ability to come back. So like I said, much like a pinstripe effect, we're gonna take this tape and we're gonna follow this body line the best that we can. Just slowly going along.
So are you doing at the top of the crease, or are you kind of doing on the side, or right in the middle?
So it'll be right on the edge of it. As wind blows and things, we don't want to be at the very peak of it, because that'll cause it to expose. We want to have that end down just slightly off of that, so that the brunt of the wind won't be hitting the edge of the vinyl. So I'm using the top side of the knifeless tape to go right along almost the top of our ridge.
And so you just continued that right past, a few inches past to where we're going to.
Yep. So this is going to be our crucial spot here. You'll see as soon as we get done putting the vinyl down, and then just cut it with scissors. This is where we're actually going to do our trick to get this wire out, which I'll talk about here in just a little bit. But then I'm just going to rub my finger just really nice. Then with this thing, you can see, I mean, I came off just a hair here, so I'm going to just pick it right back up. Follow that contour just a little bit. So this is one of those things that you can pick up, redo.
And then you just want to press that, get that adhesive really stuck down there.
Yep, so we just want to stick this down just so that there's not anything that's up, so that when we're wrapping, we don't hit it and move it, just because once we do get started wrapping, we want to be able to just go smooth. All right, so the knifeless tape is down. I'm just gonna extend it up past here.
So Spencer, what do we do where the hood comes up right along here? Because we're not going to take the tape across the fender here.
So what we're gonna do, you will use a razor blade knife on certain areas. You'll see what we're gonna do. We're gonna cut after the knifeless tape is all cut off. We'll make a small cut here using the gap between so that we're not cutting on any paint. Help us to tuck it around that corner really well, and then that's also how we'll trim up along the top of the hood, and then down into the bottom. We'll probably actually want to use a run of knifeless tape on here as well. So we can do it in a bunch of different ways. The only thing that we need to remember when using knifeless tape is that whichever tape goes down first comes off last. So just because they're overlapping and things, they can't cut through themselves. So I'm going to put a piece right across underneath here, underneath the front of this hood. That way we don't have to take our knife, cut up underneath there. Even though no one will see that, we still want to just give it a nice finished look all the way across.
And that'll keep us from putting the knife on an actual razor blade on the paint, right?
Yep. So this one, like I said, this will be the first one that we take off as we go to remove them. So we're just gonna get right up underneath there. That way it's matte black all the way down and around. And the thing that we want to try and do, and that you'll want to try and do if you can, is get as much bite as we can on edges and things so that the adhesive has more bite down onto the paint. So we're over that edge about 1/4 of an inch by the time it gets cut.
So that's why you're saying you want to make sure you clean that real good in there too.
Yep. So we clean it really good in there, make that surface really nice, and get it all taken care of. I always like to, just to help me realize, make a little special mark on the one that needs to go first. Just because as you get going, if you have problems, you want to be able to see. Doesn't matter really on the sides, right? Because they're both the same.
Mm-hmm.
But we do want to make sure that we get that first one there. So when you get the wrap material, just for beginner's sakes, all you really care about, right, is that the vinyl is covering every area that it needs to.
Yeah, if I was doing this myself and it looked a bit like this right now, I'd be pretty panicked.
Yeah, so this is nothing scary, like we said, nothing too crazy.
So if I get like these creases and dimples in there, isn't that going to stay?
They actually are just in there just because of the paper backing that's on it right now. As soon as we remove that, you'll see a lot of that start to go away.
So you don't need to be too stressed about getting any kind of crease, or
nope,
won't create a hot spot in there. That's cool.
So I just have, this is a squeegee. This has a felt edge. This just helps it so that we're not scratching the vinyl as we lay it down.
So it's still got a backing on there, right?
Yep, so we're gonna remove this backing now. The trick to doing this so that we don't have any issues is we're gonna pull all the excess off up underneath so that we're not allowing that adhesive to have any elements come out, just because if you do this outside, it can get dirty underneath.
Oh yeah.
If we do it in some garages, they get dirty. So
you're just sticking that up there to give yourself some space underneath to work.
Yeah, just give yourself a nice little tack down, and then we're just gonna remove this vinyl all the way around here, and then we're really gonna focus on getting it.
So how big was this piece that you cut for here?
So this piece is 60 inches by 65 inches. So this is almost big enough to cover the entire hood.
But this is just for your convenience to work.
This is more or less just to not be worried. Like I said, we use the knifeless tape, so we're not really too worried. Like if we're 4 inches over, or if we're 2 inches over, we just want to make sure we're covered. So we got plenty of extra.
So it's really, once you get the backing off, it's really flexible.
Yeah, so as you can see, this could cause someone to really be scared. This does not look very pretty, but as you can see, this comes up and off really nicely. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this surface all smooth. You can see I'm gonna kind of just pull using a triangle effect. Just pulling this vinyl in different directions until it's 99% smooth and looks like it belongs on this car. So like I said, I choose to use the Avery Dennison product because it's got technology in it that allows me to do this. I have people that have never wrapped before that come and they get to play with this. They come and work for us.
It's got to be a blast. First time you see that come out successfully.
Yeah, and that's the thing. You don't need to worry. You don't need to stress. But you can see here that I have it pretty much all fitted on the hood, and I haven't really even squeegeed yet. So I can kind of show you too, kind of this technology on this little scrap piece here. So even if like you ball this up, just like that, you can take it and you can pull it all right back out and be just as good as new and be able to still get
That's
it.
amazing. I would have thought it was like once it stuck to itself, you'd never get it apart.
So some vinyl products do. Once they do stick to themselves, they're stuck and you're out of luck. Like I said, this Avery Dennison product is very user friendly, where if you've never laid down a sticker or touched any kind of thing like this, you'll probably still be okay. But then for those experienced people, they'll have the confidence going in. So like I said, really nice product, very user friendly. So like I said, I'm just gonna continue to stretch this. So if you look at this, we got really nice and perfect up there. We have just a few little wrinkles right up here. We're gonna just come and take care of them.
I'm getting excited already just seeing this on here. It looks cool.
You know, we're just gonna take it and stretch it out just a little bit more up here, off on the sides and up top.
And you just stuck that right to the windshield, just as kind of an anchor point.
Yeah. So I'm just using what the car has. Vehicles are really awesome. Obviously, they're the things that get wrapped the most, but they have just great holds that you can use, and that's why I like to have a little bit of extra so that we can just do this, make it look nice, be a little bit more stress-free. So like I said, I have just a simple squeegee here, and then I have a knife. This is just a 30-degree X-Acto knife that we're going to be using for just the little cuts up on the top of the hood. So just like anything else, when we're sticking this, we do want to know that things can happen, and we do need to address those if they do come up. But if we have it as smooth like this, we shouldn't have any issues like that. But we still want to start in the middle and work our way out. That way, if we do see any problems arise or if things do happen, we can take them out.
So you just want to push towards the edges, from the center towards the edges.
Yep. So we're going to just go all the way across here. You know, just pushing it across.
You make it look really easy.
And that's the thing, is it's going to be easy for everyone if they just do these same simple techniques. You know, we're not going to go super fast. You know, we're not in any hurry. And we're just going to work our way out and down. And
well, while you're doing that, I want to ask you a couple questions. So if we had chosen not to do the knifeless tape, and we were actually going to make a decal that was already pre-cut to the shape of this from a template, would somebody install this basically the same way that you're showing us?
Yeah, the only difference with this versus the template is that you would only want to do about half of it at once. So we would create a way for you to hinge it, whether that's with tape or whatever we could do to do it, and we'd only want to do half at once so that we.
So when you say hinge it, so there was that backing paper that you showed us that was on this. So you would have a basically paper like that on there?
Yep, there would be a split in the paper halfway through it so that it could make it so that you would only worry about half of it at once.
Okay.
And then you tape with just masking tape the other in place where it would go, and then you'd only worry about half at once and you'd be able to go. But you could do this same technique on it as well. The only problem with having the template is that once it is down to the edge and things, you won't be able to do like what we're doing here. So you can see we have a few little bubbles coming up. This is totally normal, is the contour of the.
Okay, yeah, I saw you were getting some air pockets in there. So you just pull that back up.
So we're just gonna pop it up just so that it can all just come out. And we're just gonna.
So it looks like it comes so easily off of the paint, but it's not gonna come off easy once it's all stuck down.
No, yeah. So once it's all stuck down and things, we are going to apply some heat to it using a heat gun just to seal it up. But yeah, you can lift it up and put it back down as many times as needed before the end game.
Very cool. My vinyl's come a long way. So we used to do vinyl just for, my wife and I used to do some vinyl just like for like walls,
right?
Like cut artwork and stuff, and it was not this forgiving.
Yeah. So here's another thing that we can see. If you see right here, there are a few bubbles. This is totally normal. This is totally natural. All you're gonna have to do is just rub your finger up over those.
Where did the air go?
And they're gonna go out. You know, so a lot of people get really worried, you know, that they see bubbles and that things happen. Don't know where that air goes, how it finds its way out, but that's just one of the technology things that's in this product that just makes it just that much.
So I noticed that we're getting some like little swirls on here is from the felt. Do I need to be worried about my vinyl?
Nope. So it's still all good. It's not scratching it. That's just all the dirt that's on it that is in the area and that may be on your squeegee. Mm-hmm. Once we take that and wash it off once, it will all
So it's pretty forgiving stuff. I don't need to worry too much.
No. So then when we come to the knifeless tape, I'll just show you on this half, what we really want to do and make sure that we are doing is really defining that down. See, this is just another layer of adhesive over that tape.
Wow. So the vinyl is so thin, like you said, whatever imperfections you have in your paint are going to show through.
Yep.
And so here we've got that knifeless tape on there. You can actually see the definition of the tape and the wire in the middle of the tape.
Yep. So kind of a neat process. But then, like I said, I'm just going to continue to work my way up. So we got half that hood down. That took, Scott, maybe 3 minutes. If we were really cranking, we could do this whole thing in 5 minutes. So like I said, you don't have to rush it. The one thing you do want to do is just make sure you have nice temperature control area where you are doing this.
Okay, yeah, you don't want to be out in where there's blowing dust and things, because that dust, I'm guessing, would all show through the vinyl too, right?
Yeah, so if any dust particles get under, we would see those. But the other thing is being outside. If the heat gets to this, and you'll see as we get the heat gun out to seal this down, heat can kind of be an enemy to this when putting it down, where it can cause it to liquefy too fast, and you'll have many more problems to come. So you don't want to be doing this outside in the Arizona sun or.
So if you don't have a garage, borrow a garage.
Yeah, if you can get into a garage, great. Or if you can just do it a little earlier in the morning, in the shade somewhere. You just do not want to be out, in 80, 90 degree weather, just because this black will really attract the sun and cause some issues. So I'm squeegeeing now. As you realize, on this Lexus there is that small slight contour down in. I'm just going to work up to that contour so that I can take care of it, make this transition nice and smooth as we go there. You can see here's one of the little holes for the sprayers. So like
Oh,
you
yeah.
said, you'll be able to see those things. We'll be able to cut that right out.
So you're just kind of pushing it down in there, make sure it sits down in there good.
Just so that I know where it's at. Yeah, and that's where we're going to make that really nice seal. That's why we like to remove those things. This material can go around those and cut those, but if we can, we'd love to just take those kind of things off so we can have a nice clean surface. So your thumb is going to come in handy on certain contours like this. If you have a nice deep contour, you know, your thumb and index fingers or any finger you want to use, it makes for a great way to transition smoothly and down. So now that I have it all to that same point, I'm now going to release it a little bit from off of the windshield here, just so that I know I'm not giving it a lot of tension as I go down. I want to try and have this go down as smooth as possible without applying too much pressure and without using any heat.
When you say go down so that we can wrap under?
Yeah, going down and down into this little body contour just a little bit. You'll notice too, some people may on their Jeeps, you know, want to go up and around on the side. That nice deep contour, you want to be able to make those transitions just really smooth, trying to not put too much pressure or tension on the vinyl. And I'm just going to use my finger, like I said again, just to make sure we seal this top edge really well. So even though most people can't see this view ever, or even in the car, we're going to still make it so that from an appearance of this hood piece looks black.
So we're just going to wrap it up down all the way around underneath.
Yep, we're going to wrap it all the way up underneath there, just so that it's nice and smooth. And so like I said, I'm just going to define it with my finger, make it so that it goes right up over that edge.
So you and I, before we started doing this, we were talking about some people who use like a liquid to kind of float the vinyl so they can position it. What's your take on that?
Yeah, so this vinyl is not necessary to have that. The technology in it, the technology that allows it to float on here doesn't do well with the water. And that just makes another element that you have to worry about. If you do get it wet to put it down, you have to worry about making sure all the water's out, you know. Because if that water evaporates, that's going to do some harm damage to the adhesive behind it where, you know, there's not a clean car surface. It's holding itself to that evaporated watermark now, which that'll eventually give way and we could get a bubble or you could get it to fall off right there. So we just want to make sure that if you do water things, which we don't suggest with this product, that you make sure you squeegee it all out, get it all out of the way, because when we go to post-heat it and things, that water, if it's not out, will bubble and can either pop this or cause any other issue.
Okay. Well, it looked like it was easy enough to reposition and such that I don't need to stress and worry about trying to float it on a liquid.
Yeah, none at all, I don't think. So now we're going to focus on this front ridge here. And one of the things that we're going to just look at, we're just going to make sure that our knifeless tape stayed there. So we got to come down about another 1/2 inch and then tuck it back down in there. What I'm just trying to do now, I'm just making sure that my other knifeless tape for up the sides is out of the way. So what we're going to do here is we're just going to start in the middle. We're going to work our way over this edge. And what's the key to this thing is working the same distance down all the way across your surface. So if you watched on the video, as I was working my way across the hood, I didn't come all the way down the hood and worked my way out. I came down 2 or 3 inches all the way across and worked my way down. That way I'm just, you know, working little by little, letting the material do what it's designed and wants to do. So we're just gonna come down nicely, tuck this back in. I'm just gonna keep working it.
So if we sent vinyl out to somebody and they were just like, I can't do this, I'm afraid I'll screw it up, can they take this to somewhere and have somebody put it on for them?
Yeah, there are wrap installers all over the United States. There's Signaramas like mine that are all certified and trained how to do this as well all over the United States. And most of them are pretty good with being able to slip something like this in that's fairly easy, and it doesn't cost a lot, and they already have the product, and they're usually pretty confident with it. So you can always go and make friends with them, and they'll easily be able to take care of you.
And once this is on, what do I need to do to take care of it? I mean, is it going to be something that I have to replace all the time, or hopefully not, right?
No, so you with little accent pieces like this, you shouldn't ever have to replace it. You know, we don't recommend going in a car wash, you know, for a few days. But then after that, you're able to really do anything that you want with it. Going through car washes, getting muddy. It cleans up just like paint. It has a laminate over the top of it that helps keep it just nice and clean and different things like that. So you should be able to really just treat this like a new part of your car. Nothing to be ever really worried about, as long as it's all done correctly. And so we're just going to make sure that we're all the way down on this.
You're using the hard side of your...
Yeah, so I'm just trying to get a feel to make sure that I've made it to the back of that. As you can see, we got the knifeless tape line right under here. I'm just going to fill that with my finger, really wanting to make sure that up to that knifeless tape that we're covered all the way across.
Because we're gonna pull that on that wire, right? And
yep.
That's what's gonna cut it.
Yep. So we're gonna expose that wire here in just a minute. We're gonna pull all the way across and get it all squared away. So
it's looking really good. Doesn't look like Grandma's Lexus anymore, does it?
So then I'm gonna just come and make sure, like I said, that we're all stuck down here.
So once you, so it looks like you're tearing off or cutting or tearing some of that excess vinyl just to get it out of the way.
Yeah, just kind of getting it out of my way. You can, if you want. This is where we can use our knife. We just want to make sure we're cutting up above the car. I just want to be able to find that end. So I always like to just cut my things up and just tear it if I can. Okay. So now here we have some exposed knifeless tape. So the trick to getting this off, we got to have a little bit of fingernails. We're going to pull the green off of an area, exposing the wire.
Wow, that is a really tiny wire. I mean, it's almost like a fabric or not fabric, but like nylon or something.
Yeah.
Like a thread.
Yep. So we're just going to make it exposed, like I said, and make it so we can see it. We're going to just grab a hold of this and start pulling it back on itself.
Now, is it hard to pull?
Oh yeah, it's a little tricky to get the first little bit of it. The more you can leave yourself, the better.
That's why you want to leave some hanging out so that you have something to grab, huh?
Yep. So we want to be able to have enough to grab, and then.
Now, does it pull right through that green plastic?
Yep. So it's going to pull through the green, just through the middle of the green, and you'll see once we get it started.
And if I'm having trouble, can I grab that with like a pair of pliers or something, or not?
I've never tried to, just because I've always just tried to get a hold of it with my fingers. So this is where I said we have our extra to do this with. So I'm going to come back here a little bit more, see if I can give myself just a little bit more
A little more to grab and wrap.
A little bit more to wrap around my finger. So I'm going to use the vinyl to kind of help me in this process as I peel this green off of here. So we're going to give ourselves just a little bit more that way. With that amount, I should be good. Should be able to wrap this around my finger. So then once we get it into there, we can see that it's starting to cut. See, it's just cutting this part right that's off of the car. This part's not even, this is stuff that's not going to be on the car. Then we can see that we're peeling it just perfectly across this. You can imagine, you know, we'd have to have some amount of pressure to put on the knife that we would get a nice cut mark. This is just amazing technology.
Yeah, it just pulls through so smooth.
That comes and goes right through here and works its way through. So I'm just going to finish it off there. So this whole piece is now complete. We're not going to take it completely off, but you can see that it is off. That's awesome. Done. It's a nice smooth shape. So now we're going to come up to the top pieces.
So why did you stop where you're at right there? Is there something we should know?
So the only reason why I stopped there is just because all of this extra stuff right here, this is going to come off more so as we cut down.
Okay.
This will just help us to make sure we just have a nice clean transition.
But this tape is on top of this tape, right?
Yep, that's correct. So this tape, yes. So this tape, you're right. Okay, Scott, let me come. So we have this tape here. So this tape is now gone. So we can remove it. So what now has happened is this tape is now split into two pieces. So you have to make sure that we get both pieces out. So we can take our time here in just 2 seconds. We'll take it off. So we'll grab one side of the tape. Now this side is the side that is not underneath our wrap.
Okay.
This is the side that is underneath this wrap.
Okay.
So we still have some that is underneath the wrap that's staying. So we're going to peel this off.
That's right, because it cut that green stuff in half, right?
Yep,
when
so
it pulled the wire through?
Yep, so it got cut in half, and so it's stuck there like so. So now, if you look here, you can see it still underneath on this half.
Oh, yeah.
Which means that it's still up underneath there.
So we want to get rid of that?
Yep, we need to get rid of that because that alone can't hold our wrap, especially on the sides. We'll see it more as we do on the side, but we'll want to make sure we get that out.
Oh, and you can just grab that and pull that right out too.
Yep, so we're going to pull this out.
Nice.
And you can see that it's lifting our vinyl wrap up just slightly. That's totally okay. We're going to stick that back down here in just a minute, but we're going to just pull that out, and then we're going to just use our finger and just seal that edge back up nicely. But you can just see how much cleaner of a cut line that is.
Yeah, it's like perfect in a place that'd be really hard to get a knife.
Yeah, no, and we don't, and like we said, we don't want to take a knife. I mean, it is, the car's, yours, so if you do feel comfortable with just cutting something like this where no one's going to see it, but if you have the product and you want to just make it look really nice and finish it off.
So then when our grill goes in here, it's going to cover that edge, and so it'll
So
we'll have
about half an inch, maybe a quarter to a half an inch worth of vinyl that's back holding it in place. That will just make it that much stronger. So I'm just going to just check over the wrap just one more time, just to make sure there's no bubbles or imperfections, because once we take this knifeless tape off, I'm not going to be able to lift anything up or fix anything. So it all looks good. There's no bubbles, there's no wrinkles. So now I feel comfortable and confident that we're good to start taking.
And we don't need to worry about any of this stuff because this is going to get all thrown out.
Yep. So that's all the stuff that's going to be gone. It's not part of the wrap. So, but it's good to keep around and to have access there. That way, if we do have to pull up or things, we're pulling up on something that's not going to be part of the wrap. This would allow us to pull it up, put some more tension on it, bring it back across, and put the imperfections in here rather than on the finished product. So same thing here that we did before. We're just going to expose the wire. Like I said, just use your fingernail, peel that whole green tape off.
You got a good handle on there.
Yeah, so this is, like I said, if we can leave ourselves 6 to 8 inches, this is where it becomes really nice. Then we just want to pull it back just nice and slowly, just back on itself. Nothing too crazy, nothing too fancy. Like I said, everyone can do this. You know, I believe everyone can do this. It's not a hard thing. And then that's just out right there. But like we said, just a nice little nylon wire. But it is, I mean, this stuff is strong.
Yeah.
You know, I'm pulling that and it's not coming off. So
that's crazy what a clean line that makes.
Yeah, so then we're going to seal off our wrap. We do want to go slow just on some of these corners, just to make sure that we get it to stay down really nice. You know, you don't need to rush this process.
I kind of like this little green pinstripe. Should we just leave that?
We can leave it. It goes nice with the green. Then, like I said, so now we have one piece off. So if you look here, Scott, you can actually still see, right? There's still that other.
Yeah, don't forget that second piece
that
there.
second piece underneath there.
We cut that green plastic in half with the wire, so we need to get that out of there.
Even though you think it looks good, and you may just think that, hey, that's the body line, it's not. Remember to take it out.
That just pulls right out of there.
Yep, we're gonna just pull that right up and out. Right up and out.
Very cool.
And then, like I said, we're just gonna nicely, with our thumb, just push that all just right back down. So that gives us just that nice finished edge. And we'll do the same over here.
Look at that.
So same thing. We're just gonna trim this off. And I suggest only taking one piece off at a time, just because sometimes when you take both pieces off, you don't get
both pieces of the green.
Yeah, both pieces of the green. Just taking them off one at a time. That way you can focus, just because this one is an important edge, you know, we want to make sure we still have that good amount. So sometimes too, it's nice to just follow even just right behind with a finger, just so that it can get put back down right as soon as we go. You know, if we leave that exposed too long, let's say, you know, a nice little wind kicks up and it gets some sand or dirt under there, you know, you're gonna see that, but then that's gonna cause the wrap to fail. So like I said, we're just gonna nicely come down, take this around this edge here, take it nice and smooth. So nothing too crazy, nothing that anyone can't handle. Really easy. Now we just have the rest of the hood to take care of. So what we're going to do is we're going to get our little 30-degree razor blade here. Now what's a
30-degree razor blade? What does that mean?
So that just means that the degree on the blade is greater than 45 degrees. So a lot of the time you'll see just like a regular X-Acto knife in the hardware store, the angle is just not as steep. You can use the one from the hardware store, it'll do the same. I just have this one and I use it. Just makes it for a nice sharper cut.
Okay.
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna really expose this side of the car. Like I said, I'm gonna stick my knife blade in that open area of the car so that the blade is not cutting any part of the car. And I'm just gonna let the weight of the blade just make a nice cut right there. That way it'll give us just a little bit of vinyl to tuck up and underneath there to give us a nice clean look, but then also to give us nice strength that we need as well. Then I'm gonna do the same thing here. I'm gonna just put my knife blade just slightly in that opening there. One of the things that we wanna notice too, and that is good to make a habit of, is we wanna start with that corner and really seal that corner down first, and seal it down well so that the rest of it can just flow really nicely. So if you look over here now, Scott, you can see that the edge of that is just really nice and crisp on the corner. And then it's just really nice. And there's, like we said, 1/8 of an inch about worth of material that's gone tucked up and is going to be sealed underneath so that we don't have really any issues to worry about. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to define this a little bit more. On this side, I'm going to work this side of the car on first. So I'm going to put my knife there, and like I said, I'm going to cut using the body line of the car to help me as a guide, but keeping it so that I'm not cutting it on the car. So then I can just easily take my finger.
So how much did you leave?
So if we just stick our knife blade and go down just like so, and using that just gap right there in there, I'm not sure exactly what the amount is. It's probably about 1/16 of an inch that's getting rolled around underneath there. But I just, like I said, I still don't want to cut up on the car, so I'm just going to use this open space on the hood to take care of that. Same thing with this. I'm going to just use the shape of this.
You probably just even put an X right there, right? And just...
Yeah, you can put an X and it'll push through just for a little bit easier install. Back on the parts, I'm just going to just trim it out a little bit. That piece comes out, and then we're going to just make sure we tuck all those edges down in. So then we're able to easily take care of that. So then, like I said, we're just going to tuck all these edges up over here. We're going to get our squeegee and make sure we really tuck it in there nicely. Rub it all the way across. We've only done this 1/2. So then this half of the car is complete. I'm just going to take it off for a minute. And then that side's done. Then we'll come over to the other side. We'll do this same thing. Like I said, we're going to really define the body lines of the car so that we know we're not cutting on the car. We're just going to use our knife, go down there really nice and smooth.
I see. So you've cut kind of on the outside of this crease.
Yeah, so
you have some material to fold under.
Yep, so I've used this outside fender part to guide my knife. That way I can get a nice smooth cut. There's a nice smooth edge, much like a ruler. When we use it, like when you use a ruler to cut or to draw a straight line, I'm going to use this body line to just help me make a smooth cut. Even though it's not straight, it is smooth, which will just allow for a nicer finished product. So then, like we said, we're going to come and we're just going to use the body line of the car and the thickness of the knife to give us our measurement, but we're just going to make this nice smooth cut all the way across. Then that comes off. Then, like we said, we're going to start with that corner piece, just sticking that down, making sure that that corner is down really well. And then I'm just going to take my squeegee, tuck everything up and under. But then that way the corner is all covered with the vinyl. It's all good. Then I'm just going to use my thumb first, tuck that ledge up and under.
Super clean.
Here, this is just that last and final step. You can do the same thing just by taking it outside and leaving it in the sun, but if you're in the garage and you have the tools to do it, use them and take them. So one of the things that I'm going to do first is I'm going to heat it up just enough to see if there are any bubbles in it. So I'm just going to lightly brush this over just to see if I do have any bubbles, because like we showed earlier, we can push those little bubbles out and we can take care of those little bubbles. So I want to see those before I really start to add the heat on here. So I'm just going to do like a light little wave over. This is looking really good. There's not any bubbles coming up. So we're just going to go over it all, like I said, really nice just to see if there are any problems that we can address before we really put this thing down. So I didn't see any bubbles, anything that way, so I'm just going to turn the temperature up on my heat gun a little bit. And now I'm just going to go really slow, really trying to heat this up. The industry standard is that they want it to be about 200 degrees Fahrenheit heated up to really seal that adhesive. So we're going to get this thing really hot, really let this bite down.
Now, do I need to be worried about burning my paint?
Nope, so this won't do anything to your paint. The heat won't do anything to your paint. It's not getting any hotter than what the engine gets to it. That's one of the great things about doing hood wraps, is that the engine as well, over time, continues to heat this up and to keep it so that it all binds down really well. So you just driving home from the wrap shop will heat it up even that much more. My hood that I have on my personal truck, I wrapped it completely black, and it's been on there for 2 or 3 years now, and it still looks like day one, aside from it being a little dirty right now. But it just looks really nice. And this too is where you'll see those scuff marks from the squeegee start to go away. I talked about earlier how this has the properties, if it does get a little scratch in it, that this heat can take it out. We're starting to see those little swirls that were being created as I was squeegeeing going away. So I'm just going to keep working my way up here. And then when I get to this front edge, I just want to make sure we really seal down that edge, that front edge really well.
So the heat it basically activates the adhesive?
Yeah, so the adhesive was activated as we pushed it down. The heat speeds the adhesive drying process up just a little bit, so it allows it to really, now that it's in place and the adhesive is broken and is out, this is just setting it in place. And you can use just a propane torch on this.
Really?
A lot of wrappers use that.
No kidding. I wouldn't have guessed you'd use a propane torch.
Yeah. So, you know, really, I mean, even if you only had your wife's curling iron, or not curling iron, blow dryer, you could use her blow dryer, and it would be just fine for this. So I'm just going to do this half of the car, just make sure we're down really, really good. And then I'm gonna heat this edge up really, really good, because like I said, we don't want any kind of debris to go down into there. But like I said, we did go on the down slope of this body contour. Even though there wasn't much, I still tried to put it on that downside. So if you think of the wind blowing, it's hopefully gonna just hit the top of this vinyl and the top body line of this, and not hit that raw edge of the vinyl and cause things to go out. So you do want to think of that when you do decide to put your line, or where you're going to put your lines, is, hey, if I have it windy here, you know, where can I have this so that it's most effective? And it'll still last for, you know, 3 to 5 years with it being on the top edge, but if we want to go a little bit longer than that, we can take it and go down on the edge like we did here on this car, just that little bit more. Same with on this back edge up here on the hood. We're just going to make sure it gets a nice heat on it. And then same around our windshield wiper sprayers. Just make sure we get that really good and heated down. All right, and that's a wrap.
I need a drum hit on that.
Yeah.
Dang, Spencer, it looks amazing. Just awesome. That was amazingly quick.
Yeah, you know, we were taking our time trying to explain things. Something like this would take an average wrap installer, you know, 30 to 40 minutes. I would say that anyone that's just doing it for the first time, you probably would need to spend about an hour and a half.
So we've got those washers snap back in place. So we just got to reconnect those hoses. So those just come across and connect back up into this T-fitting here, and then we'll be good. And we just we did have some of those little plastic grommet things break pulling this out. If anybody knows a way to get those out without breaking them, leave a note in the comments, but they can't be too much. So we'll get some of those to snap in and replace this and get that all buttoned up.
All right, this one.
Yeah, you can see that secret is, man, leave those hoses connected. Don't disconnect the hoses when you snap those in.
Yeah, so you can see here that the hose even came back into the thing, but thankfully with it having the hose on, we can get our fingers down in there and get it to come out. I don't know how anyone would do it. I don't think you would be able to do it.
Yeah, there's no way.
Without the hose, so.
And we didn't have to take this whole hood liner off, although we are getting some creases in there from bending this and such. So if you want to avoid that, you can take the whole thing out. But yeah, not too bad. Okay, cool. So we'll get this all snapped back up in here. Make sure you get those little metal tabs through, and they just bend up like that. Spencer, grab that second one over here. Cool. Well, just to get a look at what this is going to look like with that grill in place. Now, we did black out the grill as well, so we'll just set this in here for a second so we can see how that's going to look with that. I don't have that all lined up, but we can get an idea of what that's going to look like. So super nice, super clean. It's going to be awesome.